So what do you get when you add 2 to both sides? Oh, do we switch the sign? When do we switch the inequality symbol? When you are multiplying or dividing by negative is correct. Only switch the inequality symbol when you're multiplying or dividing by negative. Jeffrey, what do I get when I add 2 to both sides for the first inequality? X is less than 5. What about the other one, Stephanie? That's right. And do we know how to graph this? Yeah. Now, look what the graphs look like. Now, unlike the other ones where you had the absolute value of x by itself, is your center going to be 0 again? No, this time it won't be. So I'm going to have, look, x less than 5. As you can see, by the way, is it going to be left side of the 5 or right side of the 5? Left of 5, x is less than 5. What about x greater than -1? Would it be right side or left side? Right side. Now, since it's n, since it's conjunction, do we want the overlap or do we add? Do we include? We want the overlap. Did you all get this? Okay. And have you noticed that the center is at 2? Yes. By the way, do you think it's important to put the -1 on the left side of 5? Okay, I cannot tell you how many times people put down 5 over here and -1. Why do you think people do that? Because they get x less than 5 first, and they just kind of write 5 first. Please, guys, you must write down the smaller number on the left and then bigger number on the right, right? Okay, so, by the way, do you see where I got 2 from? Where did I get that 2, the center? Oh, a lot of people see it, okay? Yes, Dieter. It's the middle of -1 and 5. Now, is that the only place where 2 comes in? Also, where do you see the 2? Kevin. Oh, yeah, I added 2 to both sides. Not only that, look at what is the number next to the subtraction sign on the absolute value? Look at the number next to the absolute value. X minus some number, that number is the center. It's always going to be like this. Now, only if what? Look at the coefficient of the x. X is, if this is only 1. If it's not 1, it will not be this way. But if you have absolute value 1x, absolute value 1x, it has the coefficient of x has to be 1. Minus that number is going to be a center. Now, look at what does that 3 describe? It describes the distance from that center. Does that make sense? All the other example, you had the x by itself, right? Why is the center 0 then, when you had the x by itself? It's really x minus 0. That's why your center is 0. And we went that number right next to it. That's how far you need to go out. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand that? Okay. What if I had x plus 2? Where do you think the center will be then? It will be at -2. Does that make sense? It is right. It is the number next to the subtraction symbol, right? So if I have x plus 2, that means it's really x minus -2, right? So that -2 will be your center. So the answer is, guys, here. Either you could write it this way, where the x is by itself with the inequality 2 of them, if that's what they want you to do, or they could ask you to write the. They could ask you to graph it. You wait. Okay, we'll get there. So, by the way, guys. Hello, guys. When you're graphing this, do you need to draw the center and all these distances for your solution? When they ask you to graph? No. Why did I do all that for? Why did I draw the center and the distance is like 3 units, less than 3 units? That's just to what? Yeah, understand what this really means, okay? But for a graph, you don't have to draw that if you don't want to, if they don't ask you. Okay, now go ahead and just try this yourself. Where do you think your center is going to be, by the way? 3. Good, everybody's right. Because you have what? 1x, right? Notice we have 1x. If it's not 1x, it will not be true. So I'll show you that in a minute, but go ahead, everybody try. See if you could graph this one. Oh, go ahead and solve for x. Tell me the 2 inequalities, okay, with the and or in the middle, and graph it. Go ahead. Caleb, can you tell me the 2 inequalities that I get?
Yes, I
can. Go ahead.
X is greater than 5 or x is less than 1.
Well, before you get that, from here.
But x minus 3 is greater than 2 or x minus 3
What word goes in the middle?
Or.
Okay. Did you all get that? Now, am I done? Is this my solution? No, I have to solve for x. Of course, did you all add 3 to both sides? And just like Caleb said, we get x greater than 5 or x is now greater than 1. Okay, now, on the number line. Oh, whoops. I made a mistake. You're right. Good. Okay, I did that on purpose if you caught that. Okay, then when I graph, which way does it go? By the way, does 5 come before? Okay, which way? When you do a number line, do I write 5 first or 1 on the left first? Okay, please don't mess this up because you're going to get the wrong answer. So there you go. You get, now notice, have you noticed? You see how it's same as before? You have x, this is 1x, right? So 1x minus some number, that number is that center of that number, of that graph. Isn't that right? And you got 1 and 5. Notice, if I go, how many units do I go to the right to get to this endpoint? 2 units. That's what 2 is, right? So you go to the right 2 distance and then you get, okay, any question? Good. Okay, so now, what if I give you this one? Everybody try this. Okay, by the way, what does it mean in terms of a sentence? Who could tell me? Who could tell me how, what would this be in terms of a sentence then? The distance between what? Who could tell me? Anita? Very good. It's greater than 2. Does this make sense? You get this, guys? Okay, try now this example. It's a little bit different in that you got a less than or equal to, okay? And you have, okay, everybody try. There are 2 things that's different than the other ones, but go ahead, everybody try. First of all, would this be a conjunction or disjunction? Raise your hand. Shh, raise your hand. Okay. Yes, Kevin? What word do I put in? And or? And. Okay. Why? It's because it's less than. Does it matter if it's less than or equal to? No, it's still less than. So it's, now, who could tell me the 2 inequalities that I get from here? How about Minas?
You get x plus 6 is less than or equal to 2.
Yep.
And you get x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 2.
Good. And what word goes in the middle of the 2 inequalities? That's really important, right?
Oh, yeah.
What is it?
It's
Huh? And is correct. Did you all get that? Did you all remember to switch the inequality symbol and the number, opposite of that number? Okay.
Yes, we did.
All right. Now, of course, Eric, I have to do one next because I'm not done. I have to. From both sides. Tell me what I get if I do that. That's right. Now, what kind of graph would you get? Who could tell me, who could describe for me this graph? I want x less than or equal to negative 4, and x has to be greater than or equal to negative 8. Yes, Jennifer?
It will be like negative 8 at your far left, and then negative 4, and then you have to shade in the middle.
Yeah. By the way, could I start with this negative 4 in the left? And okay, I cannot tell you how many times people do that. Okay, so then when I do, there it is. Okay. Oh, why did I put negative 6? Where did I get negative 6 from? Yeah. Hey, guys. Why is the center of this graph at negative 6, not at 6?
Because it's a negative number.
What do you mean by that?
The numbers are negative.
Yeah. Remember what, guys? Where the center is this one next to the subtraction sign, not addition sign. So is there a way to rewrite this with subtraction sign? What does x plus 6 really mean in terms of subtraction sign? X what? Minus negative 6, right? Therefore, I have 1 in the x, right? And then minus 6. Does this make sense? Guys, are we good? All right. So that's the center there, is that right? Do you see why my center is at negative 6? And the distance from the negative 6 to x has to be less than or equal to 2. Notice, did you all put down closed circle on either endpoint? Very good. What if I give you this one? Oh, what would the sentence be this one? Sorry. What would be the sentence for this one? The distance between what? X and... Oh, we start with the center first. I like to do that. -6 and what? X is less than or equal to... Oh, what is that? 2. Okay, that's the sentence. If they ask you to write this as a sentence, you need to write that, okay?
Does the order matter?
No. But I like to start with the center. But it doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, what if I give you this? Absolute value of x plus 6 is equal to 2. And you say, wait a minute, is this a conjunction or disjunction? Have we learned that one before?
Neither.
So this is actually, you get, instead of 2 inequalities, you get 2 equations, don't you? But, is this a conjunction or disjunction? No, you get 2, every time, okay, hold on, no, it's not neither. It's one of them. It's either conjunction or disjunction. Hold on, let me show you this, guys. Oop. It's a disjunction because, guys, what is the solution for this? Think about this example. I wanted to hide this one. Okay, guys, if I have absolute value of x equals to 2, what are your solutions?
-2 and 2.
Is it -2 and 2 or is it -2 or 2?
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why it's disjunction. Okay. So it turns out, guys, that if you have absolute value equals to some number, it is a disjunction. Because remember, think about this example. When you have absolute value of x equals to 2, you have 2 solutions. -2 or 2, right? So therefore, so as you can see, who could tell me the solution? Isn't this the one we just did? Okay. Courtney, what are the solution for this? How would you write this? That's right. Do you understand? How would you graph this? Yeah.
It's just a dot.
Just a dot. How many dots?
2.
2. And -4 and -8. Now look at this. Where's my center? We just talked about this. Is that 6 or -6? Okay, look. Okay, now who could tell me the sentence then? What would be the sentence for this? Tina?
I'm not positive, but
Okay, try it.
the
Now instead of inequality, we have equal sign. So actually it gets a little bit simpler.
Oh, I have a sense.
Okay, Tina, you want to try? Okay.
distance between
X
x and 6 is
and 6 or x and -6?
x and -6 is equal to -4 and -8.
No?
Oh, I got it.
No. You don't. You look at the original one. If you're going to do the distance,
Equals 2.
it's equal to 2. So you really look at this, don't you? -6, right? Whoops.
I got it.
So isn't this what I do here? Right? We know that it's x minus some number. That is the center. And notice that's 1x, right? So instead of inequality, I have equal sign. So Scott, say it again. The distance what? What's the...
The answer is -8.
Yeah, -8 and -4. But how would you write this as a sentence? How would you describe this? The distance...
Right, the answer is
Should I say it?
because
Oh,
they
okay.
asked me
Hold on. We just talked about this, Scott. This means, look at the distance from the center to the solutions. The distance between what?
8, -8.
No, the distance between, look at the center, -6 and x, which is my solution, is what? How far is the distance?
Oh, it's 2.
Okay. Isn't that what they're talking about? And that's the x, the distance between -6 and x is 2. That's what it's asking. Do you understand? So when you have equal sign, it's a disjunction. Now let me get more interesting. How about this? Notice I don't have...
Should it be between -6?
Oh, I forgot between. Didn't I? Sorry. Okay, so example 6. Notice it's a little bit different in that I have now coefficient of the x is not 1 anymore. It's 2x, but it's the same kind of... What are the... First of all, is this going to be a conjunction or disjunction?
Conjunction.
It's less than...